Change is a part of our lives. We live it at home, at work, in our communities. Some days it's exciting, and other days it's hard. But why is that? Why is it that change can feel so different when it's the same experience? Could it be that when we're engaged in the change, when we understand the why, we feel like we have this excitement, we want to see it happen. But when we feel excluded, we don't really understand the reason for the change. We resist. We build these beautiful strategies on paper, and then reality walks in with a coffee, a crying toddler, an inbox full of messages, and that strategy quietly slips away under a pile of, we'll get to it later. Now let me take you back to Quebec in the 70s. CLSCs were introduced, these local community clinics that would bring primary care, prevention, and social work all under one roof. It sounded amazing. People from around the world came to see us to see, how are they going to establish these clinics? It sounded so promising. Imagine bringing care around the patient instead of the patient trying to run around to find care. That would be pretty amazing today as well. But they forgot to include some important people, physicians, in the conversation. They announced the CLSCs, they opened the doors, and they told physicians, come and join us. But physicians had questions. How am I going to get paid? What's my schedule going to look like? Am I going to lose my autonomy? Who's going to set the rules? And they resisted. Many refused to join the clinics. Their own clinics grew in parallel. Resistance just got stronger and stronger. And if you follow the news right now, you can see the divide and the distrust just got wider and wider, where at this point, the two sides don't really talk to each other. They try to force each other to decisions. Now, could this have been avoided? There's many ways to bring people to the table. You can bring people in consultation, and you can bring them through co-design. Consultation is great for when you want to have a large crowd giving you information, giving you feedback, but it doesn't really get people involved in the nitty-gritty, in making the decisions on how you're going to affect a change. That's when co-design comes in. In co-design, you bring people early into the conversation, and then again in the middle, and again at the end. People are included, and they have the power to make those decisions from the start. Now, let me explain it this way. Consultation is me telling you, here's a menu. What do you think? In co-design, I ask you to come grocery shopping with me, and let's cook that meal together. Let's decide what we're cooking. With co-design, you start small. You start with a small team around a table, you get these opinions, and you need to build trust. Now let's imagine in the 70s, if we went back and we included physicians from the beginning. We discussed how they're going to get paid, these models, how are decisions going to be taken, and we made decisions on how we're going to affect that change together. Could things have been different? I hope so. If we brought nurses, social workers, clerks, patients at that same table and had these discussions with them on how are these workflows going to work? Let's test it in real clinics before we implement. Could things have worked better? Would that communication have worked better? I believe so. And we could have built the trust as we go forward, as we hit new issues and new milestones, because in healthcare, let's not hide it, there's always a new issue. And we could have worked through those together, because when you build that trust, you build that relationship, the sky's the limit. You're able to have those really hard conversations with people. So in your own life, start small. Build a small team around you. Go to these experts. Go to the nurse. Go to the physician. Go to the clerk. Go to your colleagues and get them involved early. When you go home, ask your kids, is there a meal that you'd like to see on the menu next week? Maybe they want to cook it with you. When you go to work on Monday, go to those frontline colleagues and ask them, is there something that doesn't really work in your day? Could we improve on it? What's one thing that could make your day better? And start there. Have these conversations with them, because when people build the bridge, they trust it enough to cross it. The next chapter of change is here. Merci.